beginning of the good news. Okay.
Yay!
So, one, when I did just kind of introspective earlier and setting my intention and asking, like, what's the most important thing I could share with you all in the crowd here specifically tonight, what do they need to hear? This was the message. And what's so interesting about this is that this is the message of the Saturn-Pluto. This is the message of Capricorn, is the impermanence. You all have heard me describe this Capricorn thing as the big bad wolf coming in, and only the pig that built the house out of bricks is left standing. Because anything that is weak goes away. If it doesn't have lasting power, it's gone. And a lot of times, it's so hard to let things go. But we just have to trust right now that that's how it's supposed to be. But the main message of this card is, we all know what the death card is. It's the ending of something. We're talking about the endings and beginnings. But I want to focus on just one word, and that is impermanence. Nobody gets out of here alive. Everything must change. That's the rule of it all. Okay?
Could that be a reason why in my readings it came up 4 times in a row in 4 consecutive readings on 4 different deaths?
Wow.
It's a big time for this.
Okay.
It's about impermanence. It's about impermanence. And, you know, this card doesn't have to be bad, because sometimes we want change so much. And sometimes we don't want to let go. We thought, no, I was supposed to have that. But go look back 2 years later. Aren't you glad things changed? You know, it has a funny way of working out. And we have to, like with the world card, we have to trust the divine timing of things. We have to trust how things go and how they play out in our life, because we don't get the luxury. We have free will, but we don't get to make all the calls. We can't be complete control freaks down here. But the other thing I want to say about this impermanence is the same analogy I used before about the timing of things. It's sad when the trees die in the winter. It always makes me so sad. Every year I get sad when they go away. And I just look out and it's just death. And it's so depressing to me. And maybe this is why some of us have seasonal affective disorder. Because it's sad. It's sad. Where does the color go, right? But my favorite time of the year is spring. Because I appreciate the green and the flowers more than ever, because I've been looking at death. And I looked out yesterday and I saw something peeking through the grass. And I mean, it should be there. It wasn't too concerning, like, oh no, you know, the world's ending and it sprung up or whatever. But it was like, hey, you, I see you. You're about ready to come up. And think about impermanence like this. Why do we have to go through death? You know, why does everything in nature have to have that time? We're being asked to go through that because it's a necessary cycle, so we can come in and we can be flowering and we can be all green and we can be fresh and something new comes in. That is the true impermanence. And one of the audience members showed me a funny thing. I can't quote it because there's so many more bad words than I want to say tonight. It was a really funny thing, but it was basically like, well, I'll say one. I get one cuss word every night. Why the fuck are you trying to bust out in the winter time? Or it said something like that.
Yeah.
Don't you know you're not supposed to yet? You're supposed to wait until spring.
Right.
Go inside.
Just because it's the
Create
new
things.
year doesn't mean...
It doesn't mean it. Like, we're all raring to go, but let's go with the seasons. Let's look outside. It's not time to spring up yet, you know? That's the impermanence we're facing right now. Even though it makes me sad, winter is inevitable, because without winter, there is no spring. And that's what we need to remember right now when we're having a hard time. The other thing is, this card, I want to use this. This is typically a Virgo card, but it's also an, you know, Earth energy card and everything. Capricorn. Let's think about Earth, the Hermit. You're not supposed to be busting out yet. You know, you're not supposed to be this. This is spring. This is now. You're supposed to be the Hermit. So go within. The good news is that if you go within, you have this really cool mental place you can go to in February. You have a really cool place where you can get out of your normal ruts and thinking and see solutions you never saw before, or go into avenues you can. But whenever you try to combine other people and make a team effort, it's going to be hard. This is a solitary time. You're not supposed to be at the party. It's not this. You're supposed to be the hermit alone. It's not the time yet. But the other good news is I wanted to end it with and give a little shout out. The luminaries, the sun, we do have some wonderful things going on with the sun. Going from Aquarius to Pisces, with all these trines, we have our lucky lottery day. We do have the sun, and we do have some nice moons. So I really think the luminaries are our friends this month. I really think that. Luckily, we're so used to this Capricorn energy, we're going to be okay. So the main thing is the head and the heart and the future, and tying all of those together. And I picked this one out also too for the Leo energy. I think we're going to have some really good Leo energy this month. And I think that this new full moon, February 9th, that's it. That's going to be a great one. And then after that, it kind of all goes to shit. I'm just kidding. It doesn't all. Some people, though, will experience different things in love. This is just an overview. It's not like a time right for love. And I do want to say that as we go through February, more people, their Jupiter transits will change, and their luck will change, and they'll feel a weight. They'll continue to feel this weight lifted, and that will go all the way into the spring, too. Because when we were looking at everybody's transits and stuff, a lot of them were kicking in at end of February and early March. So just when you're like, oh, God, is this winter ever going to end? It will. So many people feel like a lightening of it. And I also want to say, like, my favorite celestial body, I think, is Uranus. And they say if you want to understand Uranus, like, walk backwards. And it's a very Aquarius energy. So I think if there was a planet you were really going to think about or kind of pay homage to this month, it would be that, because that is about innovation. That is about innovation right there, and that Aquarius energy. And it's going to throw us some curveballs this month. It's going to be really fun to watch on those days. But I wanted to end also too by telling you all, I have Mercury in Pisces natal, and I thought that whenever a Mercury retrograde happened in Pisces, I would be feeling great. Like, I would be the one that was spared, and it was harder on me than most people. But what I wanted to do is quickly describe that when I say it's an impressionistic painting, just to share my personal experience with the natal placement, okay? There is no black, there is no white. You know, there is no solid color. It's like a smear of things. What is really beautiful about that is lack of judgment. So two people tell you a side of the story. You can hear both sides of those stories. And in between, you smear those. You're both right. You're both there. You know, that washy kind of energy, that's what that's going to feel like to people. And it's not going to feel comfortable to them all, because a lot of people like to see black and white. This Mercury retrograde is not a time to color inside the lines. It is not a time to try to see people in black and white. And when you speak, you might be coming from an emotional place, so you might want to filter all your words through. You know, you might want to practice those important conversations in advance, and not just what you say, but how you say it and how you communicate that across. Because each of us are going to feel misunderstood. There will be a time when we all feel misunderstood. We're just going to be the lone weirdo out there for a while. So what I suggest is you get in touch with that inner weirdo, and you just have so much fun with them, and you think about what you want to bust out in the spring, or just take time for yourself, some weird creative project you like.
Fly your freak flag.
Fly your freak flag. And that's it too. And the other thing is the whole power of the people and this Mars energy and stuff. This is going to be, if that's Aquarius, that's moving us towards the future. That is moving us where we want to go. So I think we're going to see this big, real hint of what I'm talking about with the age of Aquarius coming in. And we might not be ready to handle it when it kicks into our thinking processes and when it kicks into action, because some people might get in the way or get hurt and stuff. But that's where we're going, and that's where we're shifting. And in the end, it's a hard thing to go to, because this is, you know, that long winter and stuff. But where we're going to is leading us up to a real nice place. So, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Will you turn the camera
Thank
off,
you.
and then we can do the Q&A? Okay.